Pickaxe.
5-day early access to every Cast Party episode, including Nocturne, ad-free episodes, behind-the-scenes info, exclusive bonus monthly one-shots, access to our community Discord where our community plays D&D games together, has game nights, and hosts so much more, all for less than the price of literally a single cup of coffee per month. You aren't convinced? Try out a free trial. 7 days free to check out the content that we offer only exclusively on our Patreon. Patreon.com/castparty. Support your favorite D&D podcast, all while getting some awesome perks. Patreon.com/castparty. See you there, casting crew.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cast Party. My name is Colin McManus, and I will be your director for today. I am joined by Ryan McManus.
Ryan McManus playing Bjorn Jorgensen, the Jewel of the Mortuary.
Anna Brisbane.
Lenore Defia, Chaos, very excited to push all the buttons.
Nigel Deacon.
Hiya, I'm Nigel playing Jackal Campman, the leper loner striving for companionship and control.
Vince Perino.
Hi, Vince Perino playing Tevin Alkin, the mechanism of discovery, reconstructing memories one piece at a time.
Raquel Skellington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raquel Skellington. I play Poppy, the tender-hearted giant.
And Luis Carrazzo.
Hey everybody, I'm Luis Carrazzo. I play Santos the Glavinator.
Let's get right into what happened in our last episode. Last time, a raging jackal ran out of the factory after you all defeated Darian and this lightning-fueled construct. Lenore tried to stop him, but he angrily tossed her aside, saying he didn't like her and mentioning the other one. Santos left the group to go find Linnea after you all decided to take Desmond and meet at Alkin Family Mechanics. Before the rest of you could leave, Clove came in, asking about the blueprints for the prison and saying you would all need to leave the city if you wanted to live. You copied down as much information about the blueprints as you could before handing over the original to Clove, and she left. The rest of you all left to go to Alkin in Tevin's cart, trying to be discreet, but ended absolutely covered in glitter. Jackal, feeling free for once, ran outside into the Nightshade complex and recognized Mel and another Nightshade guard, a white dragonborn man. Jack remembered a horrified look on his face from long ago. Jackal attacked, but Mel tried to calm him down, saying, "Don't you want to make it home, Jack?" Jackal had a vision of hunting with a dog and his father, though he didn't remember anything about them at all. He also remembered being crazed in the wilderness and Mel calming him down. Jackal rushed away from this scene and towards Wraithwood Farm, where he climbed a tree and tried to calm himself down. The rest of you made your way into the basement of Alkin. You showed Tevin the dead bodies, the body that was once his, and told Tevin more of the terrible things his brother has done. Trying to get more information out of Desmond, he continued to rebel, saying things like Tevin isn't his brother anymore, and that showing the others the basement meant they were all dead. Santos arrived after meeting with Linnea. She explained how she gave everything to Carmina and that her meeting with Carmina got cut short. Santos helped convince Tevin they must leave his brother here. Tevin tied Desmond to a chair, and you all left Alkin to head to Wraithwood. There, Jackal fell out of a tree. Feeling more normal and needing information on what happened, you all chatted a moment before deciding to enter the farm. But when Poppy opened the door, it didn't lead inside, but instead to Carmina's office, where she and Paprika were playing a game. She stood up and asked you to please enter. Now you see Carmina gestures with a small wave inside and turns away from you and walks behind her desk. A small wave of her hand and these chairs in front of her desk push away from her as if she pulls out all of the chairs for each of you at once. And so the scene is set. The question is, would anyone like tea?
What kind of tea?
What are you doing in my house?
Bobby, this is not what I expected your house to look like.
This isn't my house!
Apologies. Please, come in.
Poppy looks side to side and, approaches cautiously.
Can I have some tea, please?
What kind of tea you got? Peppermint?
I can make something like that for you.
No funny business. Put up a finger, wag it.
Doing funny business in front of the Queen of Funny herself would be quite difficult.
Yeah.
You see, she moves over next to the fish tank that's behind her desk and presses a panel in the wall. It folds down, revealing an area that's strictly just for making tea. There are small containers holding different leaves labeled neatly, a small kettle that she can light with the flick of her wrist. You see she grabs a mortar and pestle and begins putting various leaves into the mortar before grinding them up and pouring these mixtures into a few small bags made of finely woven thread. She places them in thick cups, and you can see she makes a new batch for each person and then begins to pour the water in. But throughout this whole process, she is speaking to you. I always say, if you don't like tea, you just haven't had a good cup yet. It can be so finicky.
That sounds like a little problematic.
If you give each cup the attention it deserves, it becomes a soothing beverage that warms you no matter how cold. It can calm, or it can excite. It can give you whatever you need in any situation. But ignore it, fail to give it the attention it needs, and it will become bitter, to the point it turns against you and makes it feel like it's just there to hurt you. And she looks up with a mug in hand. Did I not give you enough attention, Santos?
Do you have a tea that gives you answers? Because that's what I need.
If only there was such. But it can help open the mind.
Is this tea a metaphor for something? I take one and I sip it immediately.
What kind would you have desired in this moment?
Also peppermint. I've got a very obvious headache. Peppermint's good for that.
I'll take a mug of tea, just kind of hold it in my hands, looking at the mug and the liquid inside of it. I don't know if it's a matter of attention or too little or too much. I just think that whether it was either one of those, it was misplaced. Maybe our collective attention is focused on the wrong thing.
I'd like to hear what you think would be better, as I told you to take some time off and work on yourself, yet you have chosen to do less than honorable acts, and including these other civilians in your escapades. You all have done terrible things since I last saw you. You broke into one of my officers' homes, steal from him, and now he's gone rogue. Him and 4 Solana have been missing since your incident last night. But Santos, you still sent Linnea to speak with me, provide me paprika and notes on potential kidnappings in the city. So you are not entirely morally corrupt, just to an extent.
I was under the impression that I was to complete my assignment. If you saw the notes that I provided, I think that we collectively did a pretty good job.
I did go through the notes. I agree on the kidnapping front that you've done well. Alkin, as well as Desmond, will be investigated heavily. But tell me what happened. I took you away from Darien. What happened between then and now to cause the break-in?
I don't know how clear you were with Darien about what he should be up to. He was going to kill me. Did you know that he had basically declared that? I acted out of self-preservation, and I was lucky to have people that were there to help me.
I appreciate you saying that, but I can't take it on just your word. Do you have proof of this?
I do.
May I?
I'll turn to Lenore.
I'll pull out the journal.
She reaches out a hand to grab it,
I extend it forward.
grabs the journal, flips through, stops a couple of times throughout before really reaching that last page where it says that Santos will be eliminated. I see. Her eyes close a moment and she slams the book shut in her hands. It's a little bit of anger that you haven't seen from her before. She places it on the desk and she turns and takes a sip of her tea. And you got this from inside his house. Where's Darien now?
Poppy's sweating.
He fell while trying to kill us.
Fell where?
Into a pit of gears and stuff.
Oh, goodness. That's what happened?
The old factory. Abandoned.
Poppy is silent.
There's some Alkin and corrupt government officials taking over that factory and repurposing it for means that, could mean the end to Twin Rivers. Well, could have. We kind of stopped that.
We will get to that in a moment. I do want to thank you for not lying to me. That was a test.
Carmina, forgive me for being abrasive, if ever I was. I have a hard time trusting people of authority right now, especially after Darian tried to do what he tried to do. But there is a link between them and those kidnappings, and I was just following the lead. And as you can see, I was communicating to the best of my abilities.
How did you get inside to Darian's house?
There were like necklaces in his shed that were like keys, basically.
Then we just kind of walked in.
Yeah.
Where did you get the plan?
Plan?
Seemed well orchestrated.
Thanks. I don't know, we're good at this?
There were no ulterior motives for entering.
Well, he stole a thing from me and I was looking for it.
I didn't know this.
But I didn't know what the thing was. I forgot what the thing was, so we were just looking.
Did you retrieve your item?
We did not. Real quick glance at Lenore, hoping that she catches on. But I'm trying to be real quick about it.
If we find it, whatever it is, when we go through his things, I will do my best to return it to you.
Okay, I don't know if it has my name on it or what, but let me know.
If you happen to know, or if we're able to deduce. Santos, why didn't you come to me with this matter?
I don't know. I just didn't know that I could trust you. After learning that Darian was after me, there was a part of me that wondered if you were a part of that too.
There also might have been a time constraint on that too, because I got kidnapped like right after this happened. And then they all came to save me.
We were short on time.
And this is how you found yourself at the factory.
That is correct.
You mentioned corruption, the factory, government officials. What was going on there?
They kidnapped him, and I don't know, we're like making him fight robots or something. It was terrible.
Like Tevin.
Yeah.
And much more controllable.
I am not like them. I can promise you that.
Yeah, well, he's better and more a person.
And why is that? Why is he different than these others that can be controlled?
You could ask Darian, I guess. Or not Darian, Desmond.
Where is he?
Well, I was going to get to that. He's a bit tied up, literally. If you want to undo that, just say Bentley. That'll undo his rope.
Where would he be?
He's home.
At the mechanic shop.
Yes.
Yeah, with all his dead bodies that he murdered.
That is what it says in Santos's report.
Please, if you could not dispose of all of them, that would be wonderful.
Her eyebrows raise.
One specifically?
Was this body special to you? Do you want it buried?
No burying. Please. Just leave it as is.
Why is this special?
I think it's family.
We believe it is important. If you want to know more, you can ask brother.
Tevin, why do you call him brother?
It is what I was told when I was born. I look over at everyone.
Confused nods.
From everyone.
Desmond is the one who has been kidnapping people around the city.
We don't know 100%.
I think we know 100%.
Yes, the way Santos's notes lined up, it seemed pretty probable.
But what were his plans with these people?
Like use them for robots or something?
I think that there was some sort of energy exchange or something maybe required from a living person to be able to make something into a version of what Tevin here is.
And what of the other assailant? Your initial notes mention 2 men attacked a woman in the alley.
I was unable to verify that any further.
You can interrogate him, I guess.
We'll do that. Now, who else was working with Desmond? You said corrupt officials.
Well, of course it was Darian, and then at the top above him was Thorn. Based on what we encountered at the factory and the robot that we needed to take down, it seems pretty clear that Darian and Thorn were working to create some sort of soldier from these automatons.
No doubt a security system of sorts.
Or, worse than that, an offensive team, maybe. Didn't seem like they were being trained to just protect or secure a place. They were being trained to kill, to carry out an attack.
There's not much difference between the two, is there? Just depends on which side you're on.
You don't think, Carmina, that you were on their list? Darian didn't seem to be very fond of you. You don't think he was plotting to take over Nightshade or some other authority here?
I don't believe so. That may be naive by me. He always seemed to want to assist Nightshade in anything that we could do against the Resonance.
Just to make sure. His orders didn't, come from you, right?
Most orders come straight through me towards Darian. But I can assure you that had nothing to do with wanting to eliminate Santos.
Just wanted to make sure. Also, thank you for the tea. I don't think I said that before. It's really helping.
It's tasty.
I shall call upon Thorn and we can speak with him.
That may not be possible.
And why is that?
I will say it was not me, but there were things that happened.
Didn't Desmond shoot him? Did I make that up?
Brother made a mistake. He was upset.
Forgive me, Tevin, I don't believe you. A simple commoner with a gun was able to kill and execute a war veteran, a very strong, tactful, militarized mind. With a simple gunshot?
I gain nothing from lying to you in this moment.
I'm gonna ask this plainly, because you're hiding things from me. She pushed her hand down on the desk and then slams it on the desk, and there is this expulsion of light from her hand. I need everyone to make charisma saving throws, please. You are welcome to fail on purpose if you would like. This is Zone of Truth.
I got a 14.
13.
13.
24.
Dirty one.
So Lenore passed. Everyone else failed. And I'm going to ask you one thing. How were Thorn's wings ripped off?
That was my doing. I did not kill him. That I promise you. We did somehow end up in an altercation, and I had to keep him there to make sure he did not run away from us so I could get answers. And that seemed like the most logical thing to do in the situation I was in.
So you took his wings off, kept him in a room with a crazed individual who is not in their right mind wielding a gun.
I did not know that brother had a gun on him.
Or that he even didn't like Thorn. He was working with Thorn, you know?
He said that we were partners. I did not suspect him of hurting him in any way.
And the rest of you just let this happen.
I was not there. At least not on that side.
I didn't see a thing, but I'm also more curious as to how you know that information. You're asking questions about an event that we just came from when you already know every minute detail.
You may think so, but no, I don't know every detail. My officers are important to me. I was notified when Darian was killed. The instant it happened. And I sent guards looking. They were able to find the factory, and I was able to get some information. And there's still going to be ongoing investigations there. But I am very curious how Darian, For Solana, and Thorn all were killed there. And none of you have but a scratch.
I kind of move my cloak and show some of what Darian did to me with his glaive.
After she said none of you had a scratch, I kind of like look around the room like, nice, like, good job, guys. Like, I'm not saying anything, but I'm like clearly impressed with like everyone.
I must ask, Santos, if you were in my position, what would you do with you?
I think I would do what you're doing. Sit down and have a proper conversation about what happened and return to what our purpose really is, which is to safeguard and protect the people of Twin Rivers.
And safeguarding the people means their bodies, but also their minds. They need to feel safe within the walls. Do you agree?
I do. So long as that's done in some way that's ethical, not like what Darian or Desmond were up to.
I agree. Do you agree that if this information were to get out, that 6 of you here were involved with the deaths of For Solana, a Nightshade officer, as well as a chair of the patio of Twin Rivers, that they would feel safer with you behind bars?
I think if you told them the truth, then maybe they would feel safer, because what really happened was we 6 apprehended people that were threatening Twin Rivers. And when they threatened us, we defended ourselves. And unfortunately, because they resisted, it cost them their lives.
I'm nodding adamantly.
I also got kidnapped. I just to throw that on there, like, wait, there was clearly an act of against us in all this.
The issue is public perception. They see someone in power die, and then information comes out about their corruption. That feels like a cover-up, even if it is true. What do you think of laws, Santos?
I think that depends on the law. I do believe in order above chaos. I believe in taking care of people. Sometimes laws don't always do that so well, at least not for everybody.
So you were fine breaking the law when you entered Darian's home because you believed it to be helpful for others.
I think that considering the circumstances and what was at stake, time was running out, and I may not be here alive to tell you the story if I didn't act quickly with people here to help me. It's not so much about law enforcement, it's about a different kind of warfare. When your own people are seeking to hunt you and kill you because you're onto their terrible deeds. Darian also was experimenting on innocent people.
Why?
He was in mourning. He was trying to resurrect his dead wife. And he was blinded by that grief.
We've learned much today. Santos, unfortunately, laws are laws. And you all broke them. Without laws, we are at the mercy of each individual's moral compass.
No, that's not true. Laws are... It depends who they are protecting, right? Poppy is shaking. It's about whether or not they serve the people, or if they serve those who rule over us. This is a matter of ethics. It doesn't... We're doing the right thing, and it doesn't make us criminals for having done it. You can't tell me that you're out here to serve and protect the people, but when you're given the information about what has been going on, you look at it and all you want to say is that we're the criminals. I know what we did is gray in the eyes of the law. It's not my first rodeo. But we're doing the right thing, and you know it. It just complicates your politics.
You keep calling it the right thing. And that's what you have decided. Each individual has their own moral compass. Would you want each person out there doing whatever they think is best, even after seeing what people like Thorn and Darian were capable of, or Desmond and his kidnappings?
You're wrong. There is good, and there is evil, and you know the difference. And you can tell there's not a speck of malice in this room, and what we did was the right thing, and it came from the heart. It came with good intentions. It may be akin to vigilantism, sure, and Poppy rolls her eyes, but it's still the right thing that we've done.
If I were in the business of picking rights and wrongs, I would agree with you. But unfortunately, I am someone who has to uphold the law and keep people of Twin Rivers safe. That's what we're here to do.
It takes a lot of layers of people working together in different ways to achieve that, Carmina. And I think that you and I are, in a lot of ways, saying the same thing. There's appearances that need to be kept so that there is no panic. The end goal always is to maintain peace and tranquility for the people of Twin Rivers. Sometimes it takes action like what we did to accomplish that. And if we were the bad guys, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you. The bad guys that are taking matters into their own hands and defining their own morality, they're already out there doing it. I think that Twin Rivers might need a task force that is a little bit under the radar, that's operating with the people that have Twin Rivers' best intentions in heart. Do you need a fall guy for this?
Santos, no.
And I stop for a moment. If you're willing to cover up Thorn's involvement for the sake of the town, then why can't you do the same for us? If what we're talking about is just splitting hairs over laws.
Thorn's involvement will not be covered up. That should be known by all in the city. Here's the issue, Santos. You're an incredibly strong group of people. You have done much for Twin Rivers, both good and some bad, but mostly good. But that is me saying that through my moral compass. I have finished your evaluation. I fear imprisoning you will cause more repercussions to the city than we can deal with right now. Citizens are going to feel their safety is at risk with Thorn's death, even once they know what was going on. Not having a chair of defense is scary. And for someone who works day in and day out and doesn't know the intricacies of politics, they're going to feel that fear. And if they know that, for instance, you all are held within the city, they might try to take action against the prison or Nightshade itself. Instead, you all will be exiled from Twin Rivers.
No.
You have proven yourselves capable of handling the resonance. The people will think we are giving you a death sentence. But I know you will make it out in Icaria.
What about a compromise? We're exiled, but only until this blows over. Until you reinstate a new, competent, non-evil defense guy, and people start to feel safe again. The rumors disappear on the wind, and the truth comes through that these guys sucked. And good people took care of it and left. And then after some time we agree upon, one or more of us can return.
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh. 14.
Carmina puts her mug down and she turns around and heads towards the fish tank and looks at some of the different fish. You see she pulls out fish food, drops it in the top of the tank, and you can watch all of these fish float up and take little bites out of these flakes. Lenore, you see the one that you had deemed as Scales. You watch as Scales eats the food at the top of the tank. And she turns around back towards you all. That compromise could work. Give Twin Rivers and its people time to forget your faces. I cannot guarantee your safe entry back into Twin Rivers depending on timing or what occurs with the other citizens, but this can be a conditional exile.
Poppy's raking her hands through her hair, her ponytail becoming looser and looser.
Can we at least have the day to gather belongings, say goodbyes?
I will have Mel prepare a caravan to get you outside the walls, and it can leave tonight. And then your exile will go into effect.
Right.
I understand where you're coming from, Carmina, and I do think that you're making a mistake and that you are missing an opportunity. We're talking about optics, and I think you're focusing so much on the people's affection or supposed affection towards Thorn and Thorn's authority, and you're forgetting your place in this and how you can invigorate the people by showing them that you are the embodiment of what is meant to be here to keep them safe. If you're rooting out corruption, I can't imagine the people of this city not having your back on that, especially if you can prove it. I'm still willing to do whatever it takes to keep the people of the city safe, and it seems to me that it's a missed opportunity for us to continue to work together. Don't you have a mission for us out there? You already gave us one. Send us out there properly so that we stand a chance, and we'll bring back something to prove to the people that we are actually on their side and continue to be of service to them.
We saw the maps. We know there's more crash sites. Send us for one of them. Doesn't matter where.
We also know that there's a lot of other ways that people are combating the resonance.
When Santos says that, Bjorg will pull out the music box that I took from Darian's basement, and I'll give it a little wind. He was tweaking this music box to hopefully copy the harmonic core from Sonospring.
I'm familiar. Not with his copy, the technology itself. I am not here to decide your lives for you outside the walls. If you find it fulfilling to try to help the people of Twin Rivers, to go to these crash sites to look more into what happened to Ilos and the increase in the resonance after her orbital's destruction, maybe that would be good for you. I cannot and will not give you an official order. You are free to take Paprika with you. She's requested to not be sold at auction and to either stay here with me or to go with you all.
Yeah, come with us.
Really?
Yeah.
How wonderful.
Well, my pocket is open, Paprika, and if you have any knowledge on the world outside of Twin Rivers, that might be beneficial for you to tag along with us, since who the fuck knows where we're going now?
I don't know exactly where, but I can help. I have all sorts of recipes.
Yes.
Yeah, do you know anything about cooking wild game?
No, I'm sorry. There is a seasoning guide.
Poppy is grinding her teeth, probably loud enough where it can be heard.
Carmina, can you include some spices in those supplies if you have any you can make for us?
I'll also throw in a couple of bags of tea.
Much appreciated.
Okay.
I have 132 night shillings. Can I get something for that?
Trade them for gold. Night shillings are a joke.
Outside the walls, yes, night shillings will not benefit you. I'll send Mel and get you as good of an exchange as I can.
Thank you.
Before you go, I do have something for you. She waves her hand over top of the desk, and a rectangular, ornate wooden box appears sitting on the desk, and she opens it facing towards you. Inside, atop a soft, velvety black pillow, are 6 stone rings, polished to a shine. I looked into your memory issues you were having. While I didn't find anything concrete, there are stories of the moon connecting people to their past selves. While I don't know how true that is, I do know that this stone is not just any stone. There is magic in it that I just cannot place. I had these crafted from a piece of the wreckage from Ilos' orbital. Ilos was the first of the demigods to create her orbital. She took a large piece of the moon to craft it, bringing it closer to Ikaria as a sign that she was watching over the people. Stories say that when the other demigods were banished from the surface, they too crafted orbitals like Ilos, though they took land from Ikaria itself rather than the moon. Whether these help in returning your memories or be a reminder of Ilos or just a reminder of me here, I hope they bring you comfort and assist in your journey.
You are saying these small things here will help bring back memories?
It's all I have to assist you with.
Tevin's gonna not run, but really quickly go over and grab one of these rings. How do we use this? Can you please show an example?
Put the ring on. I don't know if it'll help, like I said, but hopefully.
Tevin, maybe those rings will help us, but maybe right here is not the place for us to get flooded by potential memories.
Well, the moment you think it is good, please to just use it for me.
Okay. Are you done with this, Carmina?
She closes the box and pushes it over to you. You are powerful people, and you are connected by some force. Wherever you find yourselves, I expect you will have to make difficult decisions with cascading consequences. Powerful people in those types of situations will need allies. Allies give each other gifts, even when forced to uphold a status quo, such as exile. And she pushes the box further towards you.
I reach out and grab it, and I put my hand on hers as she's pushing it forward, and I lean in and I look right into her eyes. Do you have any remorse for what you're doing to us?
More remorse than you know.
That wasn't really a straight answer.
I'll lean back and I'll take the box.
Past sundown, same place you left from last time. Mel will be ready.
Give a nod, and I stand up.
I'll do the same.
Yeah, standing up and just almost trying to hide behind Santos as to avoid direct eye line with Carmina.
Poppy never sat.
Hey, Carmina, are those fish real? Or are they just fake magic fish?
She pulls out another handful of fish food and hands it over to you.
What's the point? Fake magic fish could eat food.
She lifts open the top so that you can drop it in.
I'll drop it in.
And you watch as they all start coming up and eating once again. They're very much real. I didn't have much care for them before our last meeting. This one is still Scales. I've named this one Tetra.
Are you gonna name the others?
I think so.
Okay, that was all I was wondering. Okay, cool, thanks.
Carmina, you said earlier something about not giving enough attention versus giving too much. You really should be careful not to overfeed those fish. It's the number one reason why they die. You should get a shrimp. They eat all the stuff that falls to the bottom.
Hope you guys are ready to go camping.
You feel the swing of the door behind you close, and you are all once again outside of Wraithwood Farms.
I try to open the door again.
And you open up into a creepy, a little bit dilapidated farmhouse.
Oh, it changed back.
This is much better, Poppy.
I told you guys. She is huffing. She is puffing. She looks like she wants to tear every single one of you fucking apart. I told you I didn't want to rob his house. I told you that the state wouldn't care. And I was right. And now I'm going to lose my entire life that I gave up everything for you, for none of you that I knew. Look what you've done.
Are you letting yourself off the hook that easy? As if you weren't a part of this along with us.
I let you all convince me.
No. Enough! Enough!
Enough of what? She gets in his face.
You do not get to take your shit out on us. If you need to throw a tantrum, get it done with. And once you've done that, come back and let's sit down and figure out what we have to do together.
You have no idea what my background is. You have no idea where I've been, who I was.
And you have no idea where I've been and who I was because you haven't fucking bothered to even ask. You've been so wrapped up with your own shit. And look, I feel for you. But I will not let you turn this kind of vitriol on me.
I said we were committing a fucking crime when we broke into Darian's house.
Then why did you stay with us? You could have walked away.
I tried!
And what, we dragged you along?
I have seen you leave us. You're very good at that. You chose to stay. You chose to stay because you knew what we were doing was the right thing. And you're gonna let that bitch in there convince you otherwise? You're gonna let her turn you on us? You're not that weak.
Poppy grabs Santos by the collar. She shoves him up against the rickety walls beside the door. What'd you call me? If you want to call me weak when you know nothing about me and the streets I come from, where I'm from, you'll get fucking eaten up and spit out again. And she throws him to the floor and says, get the fuck out! All of you! Get off my porch before I fucking rip you to shreds!
I lunge at Poppy. And I hug you.
Her hair is loose. She is thrashing. She's not happy.
I got you. Just breathe.
Poppy, Santos, we are in this together. We all made our choices, but we also kind of put pressure on each other to do the right thing, even if it hurts ourselves or someone we love. And it's okay to be upset. It's okay to have regrets. It's okay to be resentful. It's not okay to fight, but it's okay to share how you're feeling, and I'm glad you're being honest with us. And I'm really, 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 really sorry that we're making you leave your home, but you'll be able to come back someday. And we'll do whatever we can with the day we have to find someone to help take care of the farm while we're gone.
Bjorg is fiddling with every ring on his finger in a very awkward way. You said it yourself that what we did was the right thing, and sadly there's nothing we can do to change that now. We can't change what happened, we can't change what we did, we can't change the choices we made. We all made them for a reason, and it got us here. We have to deal with the consequences. And it's up to us to decide if those consequences are good or bad, depending on what we do and how we handle the situation.
And if you forget that, look at your hands and look at the thing that we all share. That something brought us together. Something led us into this mess that we're all now in. This sucks. But we're in this together, and now is not the time for us to split.
It sucks that doing the right thing consistently, the more you are doing the right thing up against someone doing really, really bad things with lots of power, the more risky it is for you, and the more likely something bad is going to happen to you because of it.
Do you want to know what you accomplished in the past 24 hours, Poppy? You stopped an entire army of automatons from taking over a city. You stopped a crazed lunatic from kidnapping and murdering people, severing body parts throughout Twin Rivers. You stopped a corrupt government official, the head of defense, from taking over its own territory. That's not something to scoff at. You did good. What we did was good. And I know it fucking sucks that it landed us where we are, but it's the good of the many versus the good of the few. And if we have to take that fall, I'm fine with that. We can come back. Who knows when? But until then, even Carmina herself, well, I've never seen someone change a fucking doorway. She's strong, and she called us strong. We're going to be fine wherever we go. We're going to be able to figure out what binds us all together, as Bjorg raises his own fist. There are still answers to be had. And yes, we have to leave, but it's a venture that we have to take.
It's all the long game. I'm gonna whisper. Carmina sucks. This whole system sucks. But unless you're prepared to rally a revolution today or tomorrow, I think we gotta go and figure things out first. And grow. And learn why we have this on our hands. And figure out what's happening. And then one day, we can show her what's coming to her.
I have not been here long. Life has just begun for me. And in a matter of days, I have gone from gaining family to losing everything. And I'm realizing how hard life can be. But with all of you, as I hold up my hand with the insignia, I feel things will be right in the end. We have all lost, but there is more to gain.
How do you feel, Poppy?
I'm gonna let you go as soon as Lenore says that.
Poppy's had tears streaming down her face. She looks pensive for a moment, bites her lip. Guys, I have to tell you something then. You know those rings that's supposed to help you connect with yourself, your past self, yada yada?
That she just gave us?
I don't need it. I've been fully conscious this whole time about where I'm from, my life before, my life now, in this body, in this world. I've known the whole time, before I met any of you. I know where I'm from. I know everything about my life here, too. And that is what makes this so hard for me. I made a choice to leave and to change and to be different. I made a wish to be different. And I got it. And the idea that I'm going back out there, basically, to the streets. I can't do this with y'all pretending like I don't know. Because I do. That's why I didn't need the help in the meditation.
Were you alone when you were on the streets?
No, I was in a gang. It was a bad gang, because I grew up in a bad part of town. It wasn't really a choice. It's either you stepped to the streets, or you died.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, where we're headed is pretty far from the streets. Country living, you know? Well, look, Poppy, two things. One, I don't blame you for not telling us. We don't know each other that well as a group, but that's okay. Half or all of us are trying to remember, presumably, the stuff that you already know about yourself.
You've got a leg up on us. If anything, you're a more major piece of this puzzle trying to figure out what these visions are for the rest of us. Maybe some insight from you could help trigger memories from Tevin. Anything of the sorts.
Second thing, it's okay to be angry. There's no reason that you shouldn't be angry with yourself, with us, with Nightshade. If you ever need to get that anger out, you let me know. We can duke it out. I know that you probably had some words with the other guy, so maybe it'll be a good opportunity to get back at him.
She smiles at Jackal. Well, if there's anyone here that I know has to deal with rage, I know it's you. She looks at Santos and puts a hand on his shoulder and looks at him. I shouldn't have done that, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have picked you up like that.
It's okay. I don't even want to talk about it. It's okay. I'm sorry too.
I'm not trying to take anything out on you. Actually, anger is something I didn't struggle with back home, but I didn't want to be angry here, and I feel like the less I try and feel it, the worse it becomes because it just explodes.
Yeah,
I get it.
I think you and Jack should have some little anger sessions just to let it out so it doesn't build.
I'm sure there's healthier ways than even that. No offense, Jack.
No, you're fine.
Even if that's just talking, the anger sessions could just be talking, which could obviously be with any of us.
No, here's the thing. We're going to be on the road in a cart, just like last time, for God knows how long, so we're going to have a lot of time to talk. It's a good time to chat. Get to know you and get to know the other you. I think I speak for everyone when I say we should get to know each other a little more.
Yeah,
I think that's true.
Team bonding.
Icebreaker questions.
20 questions.
I would very much like to learn what one of these gangs are and how to join one.
No, you don't.
We're kind of a gang.
Yeah, good news. You're already in one.
We're not doing any real crimes or drive-bys, so...
To be fair, we just broke and entered into someone's house and murdered a couple people, but...
Okay, well, we were just getting past being sad about stuff.
Sorry, let's move on.
I'm glad that we've kind of hit a resolution point, at least a brief one. We don't have a lot of time left today. Bjorg has to go find his cart, probably.
How am I going to fit my entire car into my pocket? She said we can only take the things we can carry. But yes, I should probably go get my supplies.
And I've got a few things back home I should grab.
What's that like?
I
Just burn himself.
in the first sign of that you're growing is that you accepted that you're homeless.
Well, now we all are, Jack. Look at you.
You know what's interesting is Bjorg was homeless but not unhoused, and now Jackal's about to be unhoused but not homeless.
Oh.
2 peas in a pod.
All right, well, I guess we're meeting up tonight. I'm going to tie up a couple loose ends, at least the best way that I can, in the time that I have left, and I will see you all later tonight.
If anyone would like company, I mean, I shouldn't be long. If anyone needs assistance or a hand in grabbing things, or just doesn't want to spend the night alone, call on me.
Yeah, you wanna help me pack?
Hell yeah. We have to go to my cart first.
Okay.
I'm sorry again for my part in all that, and all of this. And I'm sorry again to you, Poppy. I shouldn't have yelled back, but I'm not good with loud noises. Especially if the loud noise is someone else's voice coming at me who I've come to trust.
Oh, you see so much shame cross on her face. A lot of shame. She looks to the ground. She can't meet your eyes.
No. Hey. Don't do that to yourself. It happens. It's okay. We're fine. I'm fine.
She goes to Santos and she gives him a hug back. Trust me, you don't want to be a fall guy. I've been there, done that.
I just look at the others and I just mouth really obviously, thank you.
We're going to be okay. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you guys on the road. We'll find another city or something, or create a civilization. And I'm just rambling as I'm walking out the door.
Oh, we could find Santos's parents. They were in another city.
Poppy just leans up against the open doorway and watches you guys walk off.
I haven't thought about going home in a long time. Maybe that'd be nice. I personally would rather not spend the night alone.
If it makes you feel better, Santos, I currently have nowhere to go. I was just planning on standing where we were going to meet, so if you need me to stand where you are staying, I can stand there.
We're just going to pack.
Just don't fall asleep. We do have to be there tonight.
Well, I assume me and Jekyll and Bjorg are walking together, basically, because we're right next to each other.
Well, when we get back to Henrik's, I'm taking my suit jacket and trying to just shove it over the cart, but nothing's going inside of the pocket. And I can't finagle a way to get the entire cart inside of this small little pocket. So I just start shoving all of the supplies in and... Well, Bjorg cart.
Does the cart move? Do you need a horse? Do you carry it manually? How's it work?
Push it. I might just leave her.
We could probably hook it up to the caravan.
Yes, but at some point we're gonna have to leave the caravan, and then I have to push a fucking cart.
Maybe we could find a horse.
Isn't that what you do all day anyway?
Well, yes, but around town, not through the wilderness.
Build up your leg muscles. I don't know.
No. And I'm going over and I'm taking out a small dagger that I have, and I'm chipping away at the Bjorgli logo, just so I can have a little piece of it. And I shove it in my pocket. I've got all my supplies and my tools. And then I just give a little 2-finger salute to the Bjorg Jorgensen cart. Leave her where I found her, in an alley.
It wasn't even yours.
You stole this?
Well, I woke up next to it. Of course it's mine. That's why I'm Bjorg.
Wait, you're named after the cart?
No, the cart's named after me.
But you said that's why you're Bjorg.
That's how I put 2 and 2 together. It's kind of simple.
Wait, is your name Bjorgli?
No, Bjorg Jorgensen. It's a play on words because I saw the car in my future.
I'm pretty sure that he named himself after a cart that he found.
Yeah.
I woke up next to a dilapidated cart in the middle of an alley. It was run down, piece of shit. If you're gonna wake up next to something, you would think to look at it, right? So I did, and it said Bjorg Jorgensen.
And you're like, I like that name. I'm gonna name myself that.
Yeah.
I didn't name myself. I connected the dots, put up the corkboard, followed the red string.
Okay, all right. All right, settle down. Start walking off towards my humble abode.
When you get there, Jackal, your place has been ransacked.
Nice home, Jack.
Well, it's not usually like this. I'm gonna run into the mess of what's there, frantically looking for something, which I hope is there.
What money you did have that was stored here is gone. But pretty much everything else is still here.
All right. I'm undisturbed by the money. It's a bummer, but I see what I was looking for, which is the large egg-shaped rock that was sitting on next to where I would normally sleep. Okay, at least that's there. Pick that up and I put it into my bag. I can find more stuff, and that's it. I walk out. Well, whoever came through here stole all my money, but that's okay.
Oh, great. I'm going to be funding this excursion. Lovely.
Yep.
Well, Lenore, you're next.
Okay. Can you open your pocket?
For what?
For my prized possessions.
Your dozens of plushies?
Yes.
You're lucky there's room.
And I just swoosh my hands across all of them and push them all into the pocket except for one.
Just keep them organized, please.
I yell into the pocket, stay together in rainbow order. Except for stuffed owl bear I keep in my bag. That's it.
Let's jump over to Santos. Are you just heading straight to your old dorm room, basically?
Yeah. Just heading in, grabbing whatever my personal stuff and equipment that I know we might need on the road. And the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave. I'm going to go find Linnea's dorm, and I'm going to write a note and just slip it under her door. And it just says, thank you.
Poppy, what are you doing?
After everybody kind of goes on their way, she returns inside and gently closes the door. I think she probably sat and cried for a little bit, squared away her traveler's bag, replenished all of its supplies, got any additional dried meat she had, went into her room, probably looked through her shoes that she had made, some good, some bad, ties about 2 extra pairs on the outside of her bag, tidy up the room and sweep the floor, clean the house, writes a note to Pop. She goes up to his door, knocks.
Yes?
So I took your advice, and I'm getting kicked out of the city.
I heard.
I wanted to say thank you for everything here. Thanks for taking such great care of me, and that I'll miss you until I can come back.
I'm not so good at goodbyes.
I know.
I'll miss you. See you soon.
I love you very much. Thanks for everything. Please make sure those kids watch the farm and don't hurt themselves or annoy you. Okay, don't scare them.
Can you wait one moment?
Yeah. She puts her bag down for a sec.
Can I have a hug?
Poppy was trying to keep together, but she starts crying. Yeah, you can have a hug.
I'm not looking too good today.
It's okay.
And you hear the door start to open. A darkness comes out of the room, and you are suddenly cloaked in darkness, and you can't see anything. A moment later, you're starting to hear slower footsteps, and then all of a sudden, you feel 2 hands on your shoulder, and then they just pull you in close.
She doesn't panic, and she doesn't feel unsafe. She hugs back, and she laughs, and she goes, I fucking knew this place was haunted.
I'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon.
You all, after your various locations you go to, arrive to the garage where these carts are stored, and you find Mel, along with a Nightshade coach, similar to the last one you rode on your way out of Twin Rivers to go to find that piece of Ilos' Orbo. Watches you all walk in, hits the caravan, goes, "Gang's all here. Was wondering when I'd see you again."
Wish it was under better circumstances for mostly everyone here.
I'm feeling that way too. Gonna miss our days outside the walls, Jack. But I am so happy for you. I'm so glad you finally get to see it. Truly see it. You always talked about wanting to go anywhere, everywhere out in the wild, and I know every day you fought the urge to run away. Always expected one day you'd leave and never come back. And I never would have held it against you. I know it's where you belong. And hey, at least now, I know you'll be safer out there with the rest of them watching you back.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I mean, let's try and not play off how excited I am about this, because it's kind of rough for everyone else.
Gestures over to the back of the cart, and he opens up like the trunk. Has a small satchel. He jingles it towards you, Lenore. I was told an exchange is in order. He shows you in the back that there are a couple of things for you. A small box with some random seasonings and tea pouches crafted, and then another small one that has 6 healing potions. You can have this when we're outside, but if you need to put anything in, feel free and we'll get on our way.
Throw my bag and stuff in there. Everything except for the egg-shaped rock.
You all are able to get into the coach. You find it just looks like the one you had taken previously. Mel follows after you all inside and closes the door behind him, and he moves over to the windows and he closes them on one side And he heads over to the other and he begins to close them, but takes a second to look at you all. He opens them fully. I'd want to see it one last time too. We can keep it open for you. Allowing you all another glimpse of Twin Rivers as he knocks on the front of the carriage and it begins moving. You pass by the Nightshade Barracks where Santos stayed, the prison Jackal has gone to so many times, the alley in which you took Clove, Dread, and Virgil after they tried to steal Lenore. You pass by Henrik's, right by where Bjorg used to sell his wares on the street corner. Bjorg even gets one last look at the cart going by the alley. Just a bit down the road, you pass a market closed up for the night where Poppy used to sell vegetables grown in the fields of Wraithwood. You pass by the fountain Lenore was being dragged in. You start to hear raindrops slowly hitting the top of the coach. Most of the city is behind you now as you cross a bridge that spans the Pollux River. This is the bridge Tevin has used so many times to find his way back to Alkin. The very same bridge that Jackal used to sleep under. Ahead, you can hear the growing sounds of people. You assume the refugees just outside the walls, still bundled up in tents. Getting closer to the wall, you see the crater, where that piece of Ilos's orbital fell, where the dragon made of smoke appeared, where you were each forced into a memory, where each of your hands began to glow, where you were all brought together for the first time. The coach does not stop, for it does not know the impact of this place. It continues until you hear the gate rise, the caravan continue through, and the gate fall. Murmurs of people can be heard outside as they shout and rush for safety in their tents as the rain begins to pick up. Mel gets up to close the window, and as he sits down, all that can be heard is the rain falling onto the roof, picking up pace, just as your coach does as you leave Twin Rivers, where it all began. And for today, that's a wrap.
Wow.
What a good place to wrap to. Like, that's
Perfect. Feels like the end of season 1.
First arc, baby.
chapter 1 complete.
Thank you all so much for listening and coming back next week for Behind the Scenes, where we are going to talk all the things that happened this episode, all the cries, all the yelling, and maybe even get a look into the future and where our crew plans to head next. We do have a new place to send any packages if you want to send anything to any of the crew. The updated address will be in the notes and on our Discord and any place you could find it previously. But don't worry, if you have sent something recently, we still have access to the old P.O. box for a little while longer, so anything currently in transit will still get to us. We appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see you later. Bye-bye. Bye. Cart's all packed. Those numbskulls should be here soon. I gotta find something else to calm my nerves while I'm waiting for people. I tried so many things while out waiting for Jack. I keep trying to draw, but I'm just not getting better. A new guy told me this special charcoal was the only way to get better at drawing, but it's not helping at all. And for 3 golds, too expensive. I was hoping for the easy way so I wouldn't have to do Anne's regiment. She said I needed to practice day in and day out, 3 to 5 hours a day with 0 breaks. That sounds like hell. Dragon said I need to just practice when I want to and draw what I want, and I'll get better over time. What a bunch of baloney. There's gotta be a trick to it. Dubwood suggested trying to do something different. Don't draw trees, but just draw squares and stuff. People will love that because they won't understand it. I should have stuck with something else to keep me busy. St. E. Love suggested knitting, but that made me kind of feel old. Eric 5 suggested bird watching, but I can't tell a sparrow from a hawk, so that wasn't working. Avik Opsak said he'd teach me about bird calls, but then I couldn't get him to speak common anymore. He just cawed at me for an hour. Heather recommended fishing, but I never know if we were going to be near any water. Then she brought in Easeweek to try to convince me I could fish from a tree and catch bugs. They were just trying to sell me something. I can feel it. Jesky Fire suggested Icon, but I can barely breathe after walking up a flight of stairs. And not to mention I gotta be close to the cart so I can hide if anything bad happens. Jonas suggested I try learning to cook, which actually went okay at first. We don't talk about that or the half-acre that burnt down. Judgment Day said whittling. I don't have an excuse for that one, just don't sound fun. Kaylee tried to give me her fiddle to learn. Yeah, that's smart, Kaylee, calling the resonance right to us with my terrible playing. Lexi told me to learn Gnomish so we could communicate better. But I sometimes struggle with Common, and don't even get me started on Dwarvish. That'd be nothing too good. Bassdrop told me to learn to sew, but I sewed my cape to my pants almost immediately. That was an interesting position for Jack to find me in. Opti told me to just enjoy the peace and quiet while I'm outside the walls. And I do. It's nice to get away from Ryan and their constant talk about which tavern has the best stew. But other times I miss them, and Bubba. I miss their constant talk of spices and secret ingredients, even if I think all the stews kinda taste the same. All those options, and I went with drawing. Winkle, it was a good idea, but now I'm struggling to draw a tree that doesn't look like a lollipop. Maybe next one will be better.